All right. It being three after, we're gonna get started. So I'll start off with Megan will give us an introduction.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening. It's good to see some continued interest from students at Manitowoc Lincoln. So we're excited to be here tonight. Just to let you know, we are recording this session just for those that cannot attend. So my name is Megan Strelo. I'm the Executive Director of K-12 and Community Relations at UW Green Bay. I get to just talk about the really fun stuff that is the background of how Rising Phoenix was actually developed. So Rising Phoenix was born on a plane ride back from Texas a couple of years ago. Sam and I, as well as some other members of the UW Green Bay staff, went to visit and go to a conference about early college high schools. And while we were there, we had the opportunity to talk to some high school students. And the community that we visited in Texas was about 8 miles from the border of Mexico. And it didn't have a very high college education attainment rate in their community. And they had done a significant work in developing early college high schools to try to change that. And so the culture within the community had very much changed over that time. And I was sitting just talking to a student, and neither of her parents had gone to college. It wasn't really something that was on her radar of options, before she got into high school. And I was just chit-chatting with her. She was a senior at that point and was finishing up her associate's degree with an emphasis in math. And I was asking her, "What are your future plans?" And she looked at me like I just asked her the most stupid question, which, seniors, you get that question all the time. And she looked at me and she said, "Well, I'm going to the university, of course." And I said, that's what early college high school can do. It can change college as this mystical thing out there to an action plan and to really make it an achievement and something that can be done by students. So Rising Phoenix was developed. The ideas of that came out of that conference, and we were so very happy to work with Manitowoc Lincoln over the past year in building the first cohort of Rising Phoenix students. And now we're excited about the interest for starting another cohort next year. So Sam, if you want to share your screen, we can get right into it. So just a little bit about early college high school. This is the first time this is being done in Wisconsin with a 4-year program where students are really able to earn that Associate of Arts and Sciences degree. So that is brand new. Our goal is to really give students that head start with tons of support so that they can be successful. Among those support systems are many of the people on this meeting tonight, which I will have them quick introduce themselves, and then I'll give a quick overview of our program area. So Sam, if you want to go ahead.
Right. So my name is Sam Post, and I'm the student success coach from UW Green Bay. So I've had the amazing opportunity over the last year and a half to really work with Manitowoc Lincoln administrators and the school counselors on building and creating the first Rising Phoenix program, and then being able to work with the first cohort. So the 25 students who are currently in the program, and we have one of them with us tonight, which he'll introduce himself in a minute. So I've been working really closely with the school and with the students, and just thrilled to be able to provide the opportunity for another group of 25 sophomores at Manitowoc Lincoln. So after Mr. Tennis and Carson shares a bit more, I'll talk all about the program, and then there'll definitely be room at the end for any questions that you all have. So thank you all so much for being here tonight. And with that, I'll hand it over to Mr. Tennis to say a few things.
Hi, good evening, everybody. My name is Lee Tennis, and I have the honor and privilege of serving as the principal at Lincoln High School. As Megan pointed out, it was kind of an awesome collaborative effort from the folks at UW Green Bay and the school district to help create this opportunity for our students. I think it really fits into what we are trying to do with each of our kids, which is we want to graduate them ready for what's next in their lives. And we know that in some instances, our kids they're gonna go off into the military. Some of our kids are going to enter the workforce after high school. And some of our kids are going to do technical schools, and some of them are going to do four-year universities. And really what we're trying to do is make sure that all avenues are open. And how can we work with the community, either through business partnerships or partnerships with local colleges and universities, and how we can better offer our students more opportunities for that. I will say that I couldn't be more pleased with how this is going. I know it's always apprehensive when we're starting something new, but the folks at UWGB really do the extra things. And I will just say also, working hand in hand with our school counselors, the students don't miss a beat in terms of the dual enrollment. Basically this is a program where they're earning credit through UWGB, but they're also earning credit towards graduation at Lincoln as well. And so it's in its infancy. I'm super excited about it continuing, and I really hope that those of you here tonight will have some questions answered. And I will be sticking around in the presentation, so if there's any questions related to the context of the high school, I'll be happy to help out any way I can in this presentation. But it's good to see you all here, and thanks for having me. My friends from UWGB, they've been fantastic to work with.
All right, and then we are joined by Carson Getz, who is one of our Rising Phoenix students. Carson, you want to say a quick hi?
Yeah, my name is Carson Getz, and I had the privilege of being involved in the Rise Phoenix program starting last semester. So now in my second semester of being in the program. And I'm kind of here to kind of give some kind of talk about my experience so far and some advice I would give to people who are thinking about applying, and answer any questions anybody has. So I'm looking forward to that.
Awesome. Thanks, Carson. We're really happy to have you here to kind of give the really, the really important student perspective of things.
For sure.
All right. So before Sam takes the show away, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the program area that we work out of. So our K-12 and community relations area at the university is really focused on partnering with K-12 schools to build pathways to, not only to UWGB, but to whatever types of goals that students have. We are located all over the state of Wisconsin, offering different types of dual enrollment. But really, we're working closely with our partners right here in Northeast Wisconsin to open up opportunities for students and find different ways to help districts meet their goals. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it off to Sam, who can get into the important details of the Rising Phoenix program.
All right, awesome. So definitely go through all the different components of the program, and then we'll hear back from Carson about his experience, and then we'll open it up for questions. So I'll talk about all this in more detail, but in a nutshell, the Rising Phoenix program is an innovative collaboration. It's in its second year, specifically with Manitowoc Public School District, to provide students that opportunity to really get a head start on college. So the program is open for sophomore students to apply, who are then dually enrolled during their junior and senior years. And I'll talk about what that dual enrollment really means in a bit. So they're enrolled at classes both at Lincoln High School and at the UWGB Manitowoc campus, which is right down the road from Lincoln. So students have the opportunity at graduation to earn both their high school diploma and the 2-year Associate of Arts and Sciences degree. And I'll talk about what that kind of degree means in the grand scheme of things in a bit. The Manitowoc Public School District is dedicated to paying for the tuition and books for students in this program, so there's no cost, which is huge and significant savings for families. So there is no cost for students who are admitted to the program. And like we talked about, this will be the second cohort that is admitted to the program, and we're really excited at UW Green Bay to have 50 Lincoln students at our Manitowoc campus come fall. So it's really exciting. So. So just some details about the different benefits for why you may want to join the program and the supports you have. So every student will work individually and consistently with a student success coach like myself and their school counselor. So I work really closely with each of your school counselors to make sure that the needs of the students are met, all the way from helping you through the admissions process for the program, doing advising. So we do scheduling appointments with you and then your parent or guardian if they want to join, and your school counselor, where we really build your schedule to make it fit for you. So doing advising, providing academic and social support, so doing a lot of check-in meetings. I check in with the Rising Phoenix students every few weeks, one-on-one sessions. We've been doing them virtually because of COVID, but typically they would take place on campus, and then bringing in the school counselors as need be for some of those meetings. And then also serving as a transition specialist upon graduation. So what that really means is during your senior year, really helping you with whatever those next steps might be. Is it continuing with UW Green Bay? Is it transferring to a different school? Is it going into the workforce? Whatever that may be, but really helping you with those next steps, whether it's applying to colleges, filling out the FAFSA for financial aid, scholarships, all that good stuff. So really, a part of the conversation that we've always had with UWGB and with Lincoln is making sure that that student support is there. And that's what we really want to make sure is there for the program. Students will learn together as a cohort, supporting each other and sharing resources. So that's what's really neat about the program is you're in it together. So you're with 24 other students who there is one class that all 25 students are in together throughout the first year for fall and spring semester. But otherwise, you're likely to have your other college classes with other Rising Phoenix students. So you're really in that together. I'd like to talk about the cost of the program, which is the tuition and books is covered by the school district with no cost to students or families. I talked a bit about this, but flexible class schedules will be developed to make sure to meet your individual needs. So students will primarily be enrolled at the UW Green Bay Manitowoc campus or online courses, but students are also able to take regular high school courses at Lincoln, like if you're involved in band, choir, world languages, anything like that. We want to make sure you continue with those things that you're passionate about, and that's why we work so closely with the school counselors to make sure we build a schedule that works for you. Or maybe you have cross-country practice and have to be done with your college classes by like 2:30 or 3 in the afternoon. We'll make sure that we work with you to build a schedule that's going to work. Even if all of your classes are through UW Green Bay on the college campus, you're still a full-time high school student. So that means you're still able to participate in any extracurricular activities at your high school. So even if you don't step foot in Lincoln until you have practice or band or things like that, you're still a full-time high school student. So you can participate in those and on the activities on the college campus. So. And then any students who may have accommodations at the high school. So if you have an IEP or a 504 plan, UW Green Bay will also work with you on those accommodations and transitioning some of those to the college setting. So if you do need, extra time to take tests, if you need a note taker, things like that, we do work with students who have those needs. And then here's the Associate of Art and Sciences degree, which I talked about earlier. So students will graduate with the high school diploma. So we of course make sure that you're meeting those high school graduation requirements, but at the same time, working towards the Associate of Art and Sciences degree, which is 60 college credits, which is essentially the first 2 years of a bachelor's degree. So if you're looking to go to a 4-year school, this is pretty much getting your first 2 years done. Within that associate's degree, you're taking what's called general education requirements, or gen eds, you sometimes hear them referred to as. So it's a variety of classes ranging from first year writing courses to math to social sciences, world language or world history, all of that. So that all goes together for your general education requirements. Plus there's an area of emphasis, and that's really your opportunity to explore maybe different college majors that you're interested in, or just subject areas. Maybe you don't know what you want to go into and you want to take some extra science classes or psychology classes to kind of get a feel for that. Or maybe you know you want to go into pre-med or human biology for a major. That's where we would have you take some extra science classes to make sure that you are staying right on track for what you need if you were to pursue a bachelor's degree in that area. So what's nice with this degree is that it's really transferable to wherever you may want to go. So even if you don't want to go to UW Green Bay, this will transfer to any school. And likely all of your general education requirements would be fulfilled. So by the time you get to wherever that is after you graduate high school, you could really focus on the major you want to go into, and maybe you would have space for a double major or major and a couple of minors because you have all of your general education requirements completed. So a lot of different benefits for the associate's degree, but just knowing too that these credits are really going to transfer wherever you may go, even if it's not UW Green Bay. Okay, so here's a nice little schedule that gives you an idea of what your schedule may look like in a normal world. We know this year schedules have been kind of all over the place with COVID and course modalities changing, but this is what it may look like. So you may spend, most of your day in the green at UWGB at the Manitowoc campus taking your college courses, and you'll see your college classes, you likely only have 2 or 3 days a week. So you have them like every other day. And then there's also, having your student success coach meetings, possibly bi-weekly or every 3 weeks. And then you can see at the end of the day is where we would fit in that maybe you go back to Lincoln at the end of the day for band, for example. So it really gives you just kind of a feel for what it could look like. And you'll see you have a lot of space in here too, where maybe on Mondays you don't have class till 10:35. And it's kind of up to you on what you do at that time, studying, going to campus, all of that. So the dual credit courses, so I talked about dual credit a little bit, and essentially it means, on the next slide you'll see kind of a visual, but you're essentially earning dual credit. So you're getting the college credit for the class and high school credit. So in order to, fulfill your high school graduation requirements and the associate's degree, you'll be taking a variety of classes either at Manitowoc Lincoln High School that are UWGB dual credit courses. So these are taught right at the high school by a credentialed Lincoln High School teacher. So that means that they have the master's degree that they need and those credits to be able to teach in a certain subject area. So right now we have Spanish 202, French 202, and Math 202. So this would basically be for the Spanish and French if you would be at the IB level, that you'd be able to take the college credit through UW Green Bay. And then Math 202 is calculus, so that'd be if you're at like the AP calculus level. So those would be some options that you could take right at your high school that would count for the associate's degree and of course high school credit. Otherwise, the majority of the classes that you'll take for the associate's degree will be offered right at UWGB at the Manitowoc campus or online. And this is through the program that's called Early College Credit Program. You're basically enrolled in classes right alongside other students that are attending UW Green Bay, with the exception of that first year seminar class that I talked about, that it's just the Rising Phoenix students in those classes. But otherwise, your other classes, you're going to be sure with some Rising Phoenix students, but mostly other college students. So, and it's taught by a UWGB instructor on campus. And then this gives you a nice visual of how a class is counting both at high school and for the associate's degree. So one example is the Spanish 202 class, which is Intermediate Spanish Language 2. So that's offered right at Manitowoc Lincoln, and it's a year-long course, so it would count for electives or world language 1 credit, but it would also count for the associate's degree in a subject area called global culture. So it's a general education category, so it would count for that for 3 credits. Another class may be Introduction to Human Biology that you would take at the Manitowoc campus of UW Green Bay. So that would count back at your high school for 0.75 credits of science, and then it would count for the general education category of biological science for 3 credits. So we work with your school counselors, again, each semester when you're enrolling in classes and aligning those with first what you need for graduation for high school, but then what you also need for the associate's degree to make it all work. And then once you get to be a senior, really, you have a lot more flexibility because you'll have most of your high school requirements completed. And the cost and savings, I've said this a few times, but the huge awesome thing with this program is there's no cost to students or families for the program because the school district is able to pay the tuition and books through the state legislated and university dual credit program. So you don't get a bill or anything like that. It all goes to the school district. So to kind of put it into perspective on cost savings, and this is based on UW Green Bay tuition. So per semester, if you're taking 15 college credits, it's a savings of between $3,000 and about $4,000 a semester that you're saving. And then when you're looking at the big picture of completing that associate's degree, it's between that $12,000 to about $17,000. And that's just tuition and books. So, you know, that's not even factoring in, you know, as a typical new freshman paying for room and board and food and all of that. And again, this is based on UWGB tuition. So if you're even comparing schools like UW-Madison or private schools or out of state, the savings is even larger. So it's a huge, huge kicker with this program that there's no cost. Okay, and then just a little bit about the UW Green Bay Manitowoc campus. So if you haven't been on campus, anyone is always welcome to go. Whether you want to walk around or if you want a formal tour, you can definitely reach out to me and I can connect you with someone who can show you around. But it's a beautiful campus right on the lake there. And they actually just did in 2018 about $7.5 million worth of renovation. So a beautiful library, arts and sciences lab, all of that. And the faculty who are teaching your classes, they have been just phenomenal. They're amazing instructors and they love having the Rising Phoenix students. We've gotten such positive feedback from them and they're eager to work with more students from Manitowoc Lincoln. So it's very hands-on with the instructors, and Carson will be able to talk a little bit about that in a bit with class sizes being small and just really having that support there on campus. In case you're wondering, that is me in the picture. Don't like getting my picture taken, but that's me there. So I'll talk a little bit about the application process of what it looks like. So we do what's called a holistic admissions process. So we're looking at you from, yes, an academic standpoint, but also you know, your personal background and some additional admissions criteria, which I'll talk about here. So we're looking at academic readiness. So looking at the 3.0 GPA or above is encouraged, but it's not required. So if you're even below that, I would still encourage you to apply because there's always a story behind certain grades or GPA. But we're really looking to make sure you're ready for those college courses. And then the other criteria that we're really looking at is students who may be first generation college students or qualify for free or reduced lunch. So we're really trying to reach that target population. So those are a couple of the questions that are within the application that you would fill out. And just note too, you know, we try to be as transparent as we can with the admissions process that yes, we're looking at that academic readiness, but we also really do consider that first generation or free or reduced lunch eligibility. However, if you don't qualify for either free or reduced lunch or you're not a first generation college student, still do apply because you never know who may apply. We do have a few students who are in the current cohort who do not fall under that criteria, but are still in the program. So, but we just try to be as transparent as we can that we're really looking at that equity focus as well. And then we also look at your school attendance. We ask for recommendations by 2 high school teachers, and then your school counselors may also give some input. And then of course, we want you to be interested in the early college opportunity, and you really have the chance to share that as a part of the essay component of the application. So the application is open. Some of you have actually already started doing some of the application pieces, which is awesome. But the application's available right on the website, all the way at the bottom. It'll be linked on there and it's a PDF. And then there's also the teacher recommendation form that they can fill out right online for your teachers. So the application deadline is Friday, April 9th. So you have a little bit of time here to kind of gather your materials. And then the number of students is we are looking to admit 25 students, just like we did this last year. So 25 is the number. And there are some students last year that we were able to place on a wait list. So that may also be an opportunity this year. Okay, so some next steps. I mean, you're all here, so it's awesome to learn a little bit more about the program. But if you, want to know more, or just to talk about any questions that you have, definitely either talk with your school counselor or you can reach out to me. I'll have my contact information at the end. You can email me, call, we can do a video meeting, anything like that. And then completing the application. And then upon admission, we would notify students and talk about those next steps to get you rolling in orientation and registration. And just remembering, again, you're going to have support every step of the way from this point all the way until you apply. And then if you're admitted through the entire process. And then the timeline again, so the application's open right now, and then the group of current sophomore students will start in fall of 2021 and then be enrolled in the program through their projected graduation in spring 2023. Okay, so before we open it up for any questions, we are going to have the opportunity to hear from Carson, which thank you, Carson, so much for being here. He's been just pure joy to be able to work with and is just doing amazing in the program. So thank you for being here, Carson. And I am just going to pull up my questions for you. So we'll start. I know, Carson, you already said hi, but if you just want to say hi again and just share maybe what you're interested in possibly studying for a college major or career.
Yeah, like I said, I'm a junior at Lincoln. So this is my second semester now in the program. I'm looking to go into school counseling after college. I'm hoping to work with like elementary students. That's sort of something that I've sort of looked at. I think it would be a pretty cool career. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. Yeah.
All right, awesome. So can you talk about what your transition from taking all high school courses to mostly college courses was like? And then what are some of the biggest differences and or challenges that you've noticed?
Yeah, so I was pretty pleased with the transition. I thought it was pretty smooth. In your first semester, you're going to take a class called First Year Seminar, and in that class, I kind of learned a lot about some ways to kind of be successful in college. So kind of some ways to use time management, some skills about reaching out and solving problems. So it was a pretty good class to kind of help with that transition. Some parts I found kind of challenging were learning kind of the new expectations that professors have in you, like college instructors, versus expectations at the high school. So that was a little bit of an adjustment. But I think after a little bit, you kind of get used to those changes for sure.
All right, awesome. The next question, can you talk about the supports you've received both from Lincoln and UWGB while in the program?
Yeah, so yeah, the support has been pretty awesome. I think you kind of talked about the student success meetings that we have every couple of weeks, kind of meeting with Mrs. Post, and it's kind of nice because we can kind of check in and share some what's going on with school and stuff. So it's kind of a nice way to kind of check in. And then the school counseling team as Lincoln has been pretty awesome. Making sure to kind of make a plan that works for your high school classes and your college classes. And then I'm involved with sports too, so they've been able to kind of create a plan that allows me to go to sports kind of that early afternoon time too. So I encourage if you think you might be too busy with sports and stuff, they're super flexible, and I think no matter how much activities you have going on, I think you'll be able to make a schedule that works for sure.
All right, awesome. What have you learned about yourself so far since being enrolled in the program?
Yeah, I kind of hinted at this earlier, but I've kind of learned about time management and how essential it is. I feel like I've sort of learned more about kind of what it takes to be successful in college as the semester has gone on. Yeah.
All right, awesome. And then last question, Carson. So do you have any advice for those who are interested in applying?
Advice. Yeah, I would, if anybody's sort of nervous about that transition to the kind of that college environment, I would encourage people to kind of consider this program and apply to it, because it really helps with kind of that anxiety you might have about that big transition from high school to college. It kind of allows you to kind of acclimate to the college environment a little better. And I would also kind of advise anybody who's ready for that next step, ready for classes that might be a little more challenging, that might make you think in a different way. So it's kind of some advice that I have for people.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much, Carson, and for being here. And just nice to be able to like hear directly from a student who's living and breathing it now. So, and I'm sure you and the rest of the current cohort too are going to be there to help and support, you know, the next group of students who do come in. So it'll be exciting to see. So.
Sure.
All right, awesome. Okay, so we went through a lot of information and content. So at this time, we would just like to open it up if anybody has any questions, either for me, for Megan, Carson, Mr. Tennis. I also see Mrs. Fox Brewer here, so any like school counseling type questions. So if you do have any questions, you can either unmute and ask your question, or you can type it in the chat box.
Actually, I had a little question, if you would mind me asking. So my mom went to college, but my dad didn't. So would I still count as a first generation college student? Or no, not count as that, is what I mean.
So good question. So how we define a first generation college student is if one parent or guardian at least would have a bachelor's degree. So if a student's parent went and they got an associate's degree or diploma, you would technically be considered a first generation college student. So one of them would have to have a bachelor's degree. But I mean, how we kind of do the admissions criteria is we really look at, first, students who meet that academic readiness, and then look at the first generation free or reduced lunch. And then we really look at kind of case by case basis. So we may consider that, hey, only one of your parents maybe has a bachelor's degree and the other doesn't, if it really came down to that. But it's just hard to say, because we don't know who may apply. But that's how we define first generation college students, is if a parent does not have a bachelor's degree. Does that help?
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
Okay, good question. Any other questions?
Sam, do you want to talk a little bit about, what happens if somebody starts in the Rising Phoenix program and then decides, I don't think this is really for me? What does that process look like?
Yeah, definitely. And we understand and know that.
The 3 movies, like for the sequel, right? Like,
yeah,
for the next 3, for 7, 8, 9, they should have just done prequels or something like.
Talking about sequels. Okay. So yes, we know that sometimes the program and the jumping right into college courses may not be a fit for a student, and that's okay. We want students to know that. And if it's not a fit, we work with you and your school counselor and bring in, parents or guardians to make that transition back to Lincoln full time, and to know that it's okay. And, you're going to learn from that experience, and it doesn't mean that you can't take any other college classes while you're in high school. So you may still have the opportunity to take 1 or 2 classes on the college campus through that early college credit program or the college credit in high school right at Lincoln to still get some college credits, but maybe just not quite ready for that full-on experience. So we just to know that that's okay, and we'll work with you to make that transition back. We have a question. When are applications open again? So the application's open right now. So it's available right on the website for the Rising Phoenix program with Manitowoc Lincoln. And then the due date is April 9th. But you can apply anytime. It's all ready for you.
One other question that we hear from students a lot is just about in dual enrollment in general is looking at, well, what if I don't want to go to UW Green Bay because I want to go far away, but I still want to stay in state? How does that look? What's nice about dual enrollment, because you're establishing a transcript and your grades are on a college transcript, those credits can be transferred everywhere. Well, nearly everywhere. If you're going to Harvard, they won't transfer, but mostly everywhere else will take the credits, which is nice. So if you know that you won't, you want to go into forensic science or veterinary medicine or something that maybe only UW-Madison has, what happens is an associate degree actually fulfills all of your gen ed requirements. So it allows you to transfer that degree and those credits over to UW-Madison and then start your program basically as a junior. So you skip all the gen eds and go into your courses that are required for your major. So it's a great option for students who, someone knows, hey, I don't want to stay in Manitowoc, or I don't want to stay in Green Bay as much as we want you to. You can take these credits anywhere, and that's a big piece of it. Even students that are going out of state take dual enrollment, and they're able to transfer those credits to schools out of state as well. If you do have questions, if you have a really specific goal on where you want to go to college, we can help you with those conversations to determine how credits transfer as well.
Do we have any other questions?
Sam, could you talk a little bit about how grades work in terms of the high school transcript and the college transcript?
Yeah, so the college classes that you are taking will be both on your college transcript. So you will have a UW Green Bay college transcript, and whichever grade you earn will be on there, but it'll also be on your high school transcript. So believe that they specify, the class, and then it's a UW-GB class, but you'll actually have the same grade on your high school transcript. So when you're applying to different colleges, you'll have to send your high school transcript and your college transcript. So in that college transcript, it's like Megan said, you're starting, a record on there as well, that you'll have those college credits and those grades forever. So even if you decide to apply to a school down the road in a few years, you will have those college credits in that transcript that you'll have to send wherever you may apply. So yes, it's counting at both. So you'll kind of have them logged on both high school and college transcripts. Any other questions?
I kind of thought of another one just now. So for the teacher recommendations, like I had a teacher in the past for like a couple years, like in person, and I was thinking or more wondering if I could still have her recommend me since she's had me like in person in the classroom. I just thought that'd be good to like have both, but I'm not sure if that's allowed or anything.
Yeah, so you had her like a year or so ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yes, definitely. And we've had, other students who have applied who maybe they don't have the teacher right now, but they had them maybe freshman year. And yes, that is a-okay to do. And in the teacher recommendation form, the teacher will actually specify what years they had you as a student and what classes they did. So yes, you want to make sure you choose teachers who really know who you are and can speak to your character and your work ethic in the school. So yeah, good question.
Okay, cool, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Any other questions or any other details I may have missed out from Lincoln's end to Mr. Tennis or Mrs. Fox Brewer? Feel free to add anything I may have missed. All right. Well, if you do have any questions, again, feel free to reach out to your school counselor, to Mr. Tennis. You can reach out to me. My contact information is on the website that Megan just added in the chat box. So you can feel free to reach out to me, and just know we're here to answer any questions and help and support any way that we can. So thank you all so much for being here, and appreciate you spending some time with us tonight. So. All right, thank you. Bye.
Thank you.